Welcome to a brand new way of life, where you can find the life you have always been looking to live. Ashiana is not just a campus, it's a way of life spread of happiness and serenity. It's a heaven meant for life to be lived at its fullest.
We saw this place, this ambience, green, lush field. We feel great. The first day itself, we booked the apartment.
Here you can discover new passions, dreams, and aspirations.
We have come from Delhi. We shifted to Nirmay and we are well settled there and we are liking the place very much.
Discover impulsiveness again. Discover a healthy appetite with 3 veg meals a day and enjoy every bite. Find a new way to relax or even a new way to discover restless. Come, discover active senior living at its fullest. Well,
Um, Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this session of Senior Living Myths versus Reality. Myths often affect our thinking, beliefs, and decision making. Like any other subject, senior living also is surrounded with many myths, which affects our decision making process of many seniors who consider moving to senior living communities. Let's start up with some of residents who are already living in senior living communities and do a fact check with the possibly most credible faculty. My name is Dr. Muralidhara. I'm by education Ayurvedic physician and a student of psychology. And I'm associated with senior living industry since last 15 years or so. I would like to introduce our panelists, Madam Usha Kala, Sir Mukesh Agarwal. So I would like to request Usha ma'am to introduce herself. Ma'am, please.
I'm an army wife and lived a very comfortable, independent, and a life in army cantonments. And so, when my husband was retiring, there was a kind of a thing, how will we adjust in civilian life? That question came at that time. And but for me, it was a boon because before he retired, I had been initiated in volunteering work in a social sector. So now, till today, I have had 30 years of experience in different NGOs. They are many times not interconnected at all. I am part of the suicide helpline and from last 28 years, and also being the national secretary for opening new centers in India. And this is called Beyond Business, which is comes under the umbrella of Samaritans UK. And with the time, I have been part of Cancer Palliative Care organization as a volunteer, as a trainer. It's been a very, eye-opening experience being part of the cancer line. And my work with the counseling, it fitted in very well. And similarly, then I've been asked to, run a project of National HRD Network Delhi chapter, which was Beyond Business. So I was running it and I was the relationship manager. It was bringing non-profit organizations and corporates on the same platform. NGOs are born with something very special in the heart of the experience of the person or the need of that place where the NGO is starting. And when they grow up, they have everything in a passion of doing it. But when they grow up, there are no system. That is where Beyond Business had been helping them. HR Fraternity was helping them. And apart from that, I have also been part of ITC HMI. I am still with them as a counselor and a trainer. It's again been a very different area of working with hospitality, youngsters who's been trained to become managers. And I cannot say that I gave them something. But what I have been learning during this journey was absolutely fantastic for me to be keep jumping maybe in a various areas. But basically, I'm happier when there is a counseling thing is involved, because that is my forte. And when I was we decided to work on senior living, so we researched a lot. And me and my husband wasn't very keen, because we were living in our ancestral home in South Delhi, and he kept saying that people dream to be getting a home like this, and you want to be out of that. My fears were that Delhi, being Delhi, was not a very friendly neighborhood. I didn't know anyone around, and my fear of something, one of us left to live alone, is going to be a very lonely journey for us. And that's how, in our research, I think this Bhiwadi fitted in very well, and we booked it. Uh, and the way the life is, by the time Nirmay was ready to receive us, my husband was not there. And after 49 years of a married life, I had to start a new beginning all by myself in a new place. My enthusiasm had dipped down a bit. But when I came here, I was with a very different mixed feeling. Where am I going? Is it that my identity is not going to be there? Is that the work I do is going to be affected? How will I travel from here? Because when we shifted, Nirmay Bhiwadi was different setup. Now it's a grown all around. It's so different. Everything is here. Think of it and you get it. And then I found hiring a driver was so easy.
Yes, ma'am.
So
So,
that's what the one, I kept going, doing my
yeah,
work.
absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for joining us today. Mukesh sir, would you quickly like to introduce yourself? Sir, you're on mute. Sir, you're still on mute.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm Mukesh Agarwal. I work for Indian Airlines and Indigo for so many years, and we are living very comfortably in Delhi. As we approached our retirement, my wife Kumuksh, who is next to me, she wanted to get away from the pollution and congestion. We didn't like Delhi at all because it was very uh, difficult to live there. And we started exploring senior living. She had heard about Ashiana Utsav from a friend of mine, and we visited Ashiana Utsav in 2015. The first thing which struck me was the beautifully maintained lawns and the cafe, ambience of the cafe, and the friendly nature. So we, on the first opportunity, we booked Ashiana Nirmay. And after retirement, I shifted to Ashiana town, and we saw Nirmay being built in our presence. And now it has been 3 years, and we are just loving it.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Let's quickly move on to, let's try to bust the myths surrounding senior living. Sir, my first question to you is that the myth is that old age homes and senior living are one and the same. So many people think that they are one and the same. So you have been living in a senior living community since last 3 odd years. What's your experience and what's your take on this?
Yes, Dr. Mulida, that's very true. Since senior living is not very popular in India before, the only concept was old age home or vridhrashram. In fact, when we were thinking of shifting, also we had doubts in our mind that where is Bhiwadi, how far it is. And also many of our relatives who didn't know better still say that we have shifted to an ashram. But I tell you, the reality cannot be further than the truth. There is nothing, in fact, it is much more active and better than what life we had in Delhi, or because people are very free here. They can do what they want, and it is nowhere comparable to any vridhrashram or old age home.
Would you like to highlight on one or two key differentiators, between old age homes and senior living, sir?
The first thing is it is your own home. You are the master of your house. There's no dependence on anyone. You can cook, you can do what you want. Only difference is that there's a support, very well designed support system specifically for senior living. So that is an added advantage, but there's nothing to take away from your freedom or your choice of living.
Fantastic. Thank you for clarifying that. Ma'am, my question to you is, there's a myth that people who have no one else to look after come to old age homes. I mean, since people consider senior living also as old age homes. You have been living in senior living for quite long now, and you have seen your friends. So what is the difference in senior living here, in this context?
Yeah, senior living, since it is you buy the property, you buy the entire system for which you have, when you age, you fear within what will happen to me. Nobody is around in a big city. And here, because it has been designed to look after you, when you are healthier, maybe you can take part in all activities, learn new things around. And also, when you are frail, you have a choice of moving into a care home. Apart from that, if all of a sudden you die or something happens, you are still taken care of if your children are not around, somebody. There is a lot of dignity involved in this organized system, that the once you accept it totally, your family accepts it totally, you are not fearful what will happen, will I be just passed out and nobody will know. So that's not there, that eliminates that fear altogether. So that's the wonderful thing. And yeah.
Yeah, adding on to that question, ma'am. I mean, many people think that old age homes are a very pathetic place to live, which is not taken. I mean, which is not cared, where people are not cared for, and things are not very livable. What is the difference you feel between that kind of atmosphere and the place where you are living, senior living communities?
This is a huge difference. Old age homes mostly are charitable or they run on government subsidy. And there are large number of people there. The systems, because see, I have been doing some research on this because of, I was doing something for HelpAge. And so when I connected to most thing, one thing was very common. In fact, on those old age home also, which were run by, you live there by paying it. If you are very ill, you are sick, and then they will ask for your next of kin to come and take you. So the people who are living there, they are living there because they have no other system around them. Support system is not there. And look at the fear they must be living with. The day I get very serious, they are going to call my son or my some ex-relative and going back to their home. I think senior living takes away that fear altogether because they become our family. The system becomes our family. Even if we are aloners and we don't make friends around, the system takes care of us.
Great,
That's
great.
the huge thing.
Okay. Sir, the other myth is that people think there are no choices available in senior living. I mean, once you move into a senior living community, you are bound to certain things, and there are no choices. What's your experience?
No, I don't feel that because everyone is very free to do. It is, see, the main difference is it is your own place like any other. You are paying for it. It is not a free or charity thing. And you just have to visit this place to see how active and how free people feel. And they have all the choices. There are music groups, there are dance groups, there are nature groups, and everyone is really enjoying it. So it is difficult to describe everything in words, but it is huge a lot of difference between what the perception is and actual living here. Actually, we were very pleasantly surprised after coming here.
Okay, okay. Um, Usha ma'am, one more question to you is people generally consider that in senior living, the only thing people do in their free time is to stare at walls or at a maximum watch the TV. So what's your experience, ma'am?
My experience has been so wonderful. I'll just give you a latest experience. Initially, when I shifted, I had a balcony garden. And since my family is in Delhi, I keep going there. So worry who look after it. So my neighbors, they looked after as their own. And my another neighbor who always gets my house cleaned periodically when I'm not here. And when I come, I always step in a cleaned up house with the dusting done and everything good. And so, and the cafe is there. You come here. People keep asking. I say, no, I'll come in the evening.
Made a point also yesterday. Point.
And that's where you just make a call, and within 15 minutes, food comes in your apartment. What else one needs? So that has been very, very, relieving thing. You never reach here, even if you have closed your apartment for a longer time. I have for many months. When I came, everything was tickety boom. So that's the thing which makes me feel it's an extended family which this place allows you to create. It is up to us to extend ourselves and others to extend their hands. It's a hand holding. When I came, I was emotionally a little rattled. But my neighbors again, they were the one, they didn't know that, I'm missing my husband or feeling that I've come without him. Without even that, they held my hand. And I'll tell you, another my one neighbor, when I was getting the work done here, I would receive a phone call saying, have you had your lunch? I said, not now. I think I'll be going to the cafe once they finish it. She said, okay, so you haven't had. And after 10-15 minutes, I listen a ring on my door, and my ground floor, lady came up with the hot food. She said, now you enjoy it. I'm going to look after your work. So how wonderful it is.
Yeah.
So, these experiences are amazing. I can't tell you that.
So we are joined by two more panelists, Mr. Srinivasan and Lalita ma'am. Ma'am and sir, welcome for this discussion. Lalita ma'am is a retired principal of an educational institution, and she's living in a senior living community since last 2.5 years for now. Ma'am, my question to you is, generally people think that food would be pathetic in old age homes. Because people consider senior living also as old age homes. What difference you see in a senior living community? What kind of options you have in food? And what kind of options you have for your own cooking and related hobbies?
Yes, I am Lalita Ramakrishnan. Food is very good here. Actually, they always ask us what type of menu we want, and they provide us according to that taste. Different community people are there. So I love food here, very nice food. And food is actually during the COVID period, it was served at our doorsteps. Ashana Shubham. We had it nicely. So there is no problem with food. Food is very good.
Welcome, Srinivasan sir. I think has just left. Usha ma'am, once again, my question to you is, people think it's not in our culture to go to senior living communities. Though we had the concept of Vanaprasthashram in our culture, people still think it's not in our culture. What's your take on this?
Yes, it is true, because even when the times have become tougher for the younger generation, like my children, and the competitive world they are in, and mostly when both partners are working, so the pressures are more, and they are always struggling between the work-life balance, and which is for their own unit, it is so difficult. And shifting with them as a elder person, that means you're opting for a closed wall living, which was not acceptable to me. And my children had a lot of fears of that shifting, because maybe they were feeling emotionally upset that how my mother now, since father is not there, shifting to a old age home kind of a concept, which is kind of a stigma. What people will say, oh, he's here in Delhi and he couldn't look after me. So when I decided, I said, no, that's my insurance. I'll keep coming back. I'm not abandoning. You are not abandoning me. And I'm creating more choice for myself, and a choice of living a happy, open life and a vibrant life rather than cooped up in the four walls. So my experience has been that, even my children's experience has been that, now my son is the one who keeps advising to his friends who lose one of their parents or whose parents have become very grumpy. Talk to my mom, she will arrange, go and see the place and shift them there. So that's the, a change. Once you realize, you come closer to it. So all your fears of where your parents are going, who's going to be there to really look after them, are all ceases out. And so it's a very kind of a very happy situation for the children and for you.
Thank you, ma'am, for clarifying that. Lalita, ma'am, my question to you is, people think that life would be boring in a senior living community. Would you like to share your experience on this?
Yeah, not at all. Actually, when I came here, I didn't know anybody. But active living, here you have a choice to spend your rest of your living. So the life was very well planned and all that. Your skill can be brought out. Each one given an independent flat. So you can do whatever you want. Your freedom is more. And
Ma'am, would you also like to share your typical daily routine there? What do
nothing is
what do you
difficult
do
here.
throughout the
Yeah,
day?
nothing is difficult here. It's very nice, very nice. No difficulty. It's
Okay.
very luxurious clubbing, and we have a lot of activities going on in the evening. And CCTV cameras are fixed everywhere, and security is there, so no problem.
So there is a question which is asked by somebody. Mukesh
Yes.
sir, would you like to answer this? What are the challenges that are senior living persons presently faced in accessing services of a senior living? So was there any gap between the expectations from services point of view and services actually delivered? So Mukesh sir, would you like to?
Yes, that's a very common and very normal question. Frankly, there'll always be a gap between your expectations and what you get. However, my personal experience has been, by and large, we get what we were promised, and there are always, whenever we have some complaint, Ashana maintenance, or Ashana team is there to listen and solve the problem. So personally, I don't feel there's any significant problem in that area. Yes, there are always expectations higher than what we get, but Ashana management team tries to live up to that expectations. That's what I can say.
Lalita ma'am, I would like to ask one more question to you.
Yes.
What kind of preparations, mental preparations one has to make before moving into a senior living community?
The main thing is we should know how to move with other people. You should be adaptable, and you should accept people. You should become very friendly with them, and moreover, your children also should like it. So you should invite your children to come and see once, so that they will come to know how the homes are doing. But Ashiana is excellent. They are giving very good They are giving very good assistance and everything, medical assistance there. And then the life was very well planned. Each one has got their own skill. And the skill can be brought out.
Okay.
They gave a lot of opportunity for that. And evenings we have some activities where you can show your skill. If you're talented, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Usha ma'am, my question to you is, you come from a very intellectually stimulated background. So you all throughout your life, you have been an intellectual person. What kind of stimulations you get in a senior living community? Ma'am, you're on mute.
The best thing is that here that the people are coming here from very different backgrounds and very different experiences. See, when you work in somewhere, some area, so you may be learning and experiencing that area, whatever causes are there for which you are working. But here I have friends who've been IIT Delhi graduates, an engineer, only woman working in a cement company, ministry. And, different people, different outlooks. They're professors and English department, worked in so many places, writes, dramas, directs dramas. So we here are, lots of people have become actors. And so it's so nice. People who have never done any activity on the stage are doing it. So, when you are with the people with different backgrounds, you still learn a lot because you feel that you know all, but you don't know all. So it's a very stimulating, communicating with them. And basically, we all have come here with some kind of a fear of loneliness or experience of loneliness. And so it is so wonderful that we realize and we really look forward to meeting, spending time together, sharing your life experiences, sharing your personal experiences, personal life without any fear. Because we all have a lot of things within us to share. So this is the best thing which happens here. Your own kind, and there are younger senior living people here, and there are more of like my age who may not be maybe received and welcomed by younger one also, but we find our own kind in every age group from 55 to maybe 80. So that's the thing which is very stimulating.
One last question from my side to, any of you can answer that. So has moving into a senior living community helped you in improving relationship with your family members, with your children or friends or next of kin? And if yes, how?
Can I answer that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. After coming here, of course, many of our relatives and friends have visited us, and they are very happy to see us happy. That's the basic thing I can say. Sometimes our children are worried that how we will be coping up. But once they visit this place, they are very relieved and satisfied that we'll be taken care of. And we were initially a little apprehensive that there won't be too many visitors. It's an out of way place. But people, my friends and relatives have come here. They have liked it, and that's not a problem.
Can I also answer?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. I was living all alone for a long time. My husband was in the Air Force. He was a wing commander, and he died very early. And I was alone. I brought up my children, sent them to US. They are well settled now. Now, having stayed alone for a long time, my children were very doubtful whether I would be happy here in Asiana. So they went on asking, already you are living alone, you are living in a home-like thing. So will you be happy? Then for 2-3 days, I came here, stayed, saw this. I liked the friends, and then I moved in. So now I'm very happy. My children also greatly relieved because somebody is to take care of me. So that way, it's nice now. I enjoy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Usha ma'am. Thank you so much, Mukesh sir. Thank you so much, Lalita ma'am. I think due to some technical issues, Sarayu ma'am could not join on time, but however, she is there. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here. I think these clarifications would help people who are looking for a senior living community. I mean, answer from people who have directly experienced senior living. I hope this would have been a good session for everybody. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah. I am very
Thank-
sorry for the late joining. I've got some guests today. So we went for lunch and just now returned. So anyway, I'm here now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.